What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show up on the air on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Also available online. Stream it up at sportstalk1051.com. You got your smart devices, got the app, download it, take it on the go. Video streams also up and roll YouTube this morning. Hopefully, all had a good Labor Day weekend here, and for some of you, back at it this week or this Tuesday morning. Appreciate you making us a part of your new work week here. What do we got on a good old game plan for us this morning here? Brewers, man, break up the Brewers right now, staying hot after winning the series against the Reds. I was going to say Weds. After winning the series against the Reds, taking 3 out of 4. The Brewers yesterday, game one of their series against the Cardinals. And they come away with a 9-3 victory. Willie Adames, on his 29th birthday, continues to stay hot at the plate. His fifth straight game with a home run. And oh, by the way, it was another 3-run home run, which puts him at 13 for the season and tied with somebody named Ken Griffey Jr. for the most in a single season. Not bad when you could put yourself in a conversation or compare it or your name's right next to the guy named Ken Griffey Jr. and Jackson Cheerio, the rookie sensation, with his second career grand slam yesterday. 9-3 victory for the Brew Crew over the St. Louis Reds with the victory. Brewers remain 10 games ahead of the Cubs for first place in the division. They are 1.5 back. So it's a 1.5 back. 1.5 back. A couple games back there for first place in the National League, but they are tied for the second most wins in all of Major League Baseball. The only team that's ahead of them is the Dodgers. Dodgers have 83 wins. The Brewers are tied with the Phillies for second place. Both teams, both squads with 81 wins. The Phillies just have one fewer loss. Brewers, by the way, 2 games back from first, half game back from second. Misspoke there. But tied for the second most wins in all of Major League Baseball. More wins than the Yankees. It's by one, but hey, we could say it. More than Baltimore by one, but again, we could say it, right? Yankees and Baltimore just 80 wins, and your Milwaukee Brewers have 81 wins. As we are now into the final month of this regular season, raise your hand if you had that on your bingo card in spring training at the beginning of the season. If you were raising your hand, you're a liar. You are a liar. But what we got? How many games? Just 14 games left to go in this thing here. Is that right? If my math is correct here, what 81 plus 57 and 138 minus 162, or 24 games left to go here. So that was off a little bit there. I had to do the calculator, double check it. But Brewers will be back at it tonight, taking on the Cardinals, looking for at least a series win. Then another game tomorrow before an off day Thursday, Colorado, and then on the road for a little bit next week there. But yesterday, Freddie Peralta went 5 1/3, giving up 3 earned runs, couple dingers there, also issuing a couple walks. Hudson pitching relief, inning in 2/3, and then Ross there closing it out for the final 2 innings. Ross looked sharp yesterday, and maybe he is better suited into bullpen. I mean, he pitched 2 innings yesterday and had 4 Ks, 4 strikeouts for Ross. So, guy who began the season as a starter for this ball club here, maybe he's a little bit better suited coming out of the pen here, because when you look at Joe Ross and his last couple games and such, yesterday pitching 2 innings, striking out 4. Back in the 30th, 2 innings, struck out 3, only giving up 1 hit. Against the Giants back in the 27th, 2 innings, 1 hit, struck out 1. But ever since he's moved to the bullpen here at the beginning of August, He finished the month of August in 7 games. He pitched in 7 games, 13 innings with a .69 ERA. Then you add in what he did yesterday. I mean, he's pitching really well coming out of the bullpen. So, might have been a really good move, not only for him, but for the Brewers too. You know, I know they got a couple guys that are working their way back from the injury list, Mears and Obi Milner and such, but they're kind of setting themselves up to have some tough decisions when it gets to that playoff roster of who they're going to keep and such. But gotta tip your cap. Joe Ross has been making it a hard decision for the Brewers, and that's a good thing. So, but we'll talk some Brewers throughout this morning. Again, recapping the game last night and taking a look at game 2 and the final push, the final 24 games of the regular season. The final 24, believe it or not. So we'll get to that. It's also just a couple days away here from kickoff for the Packers season. Packers putting their final touches, final preparations to take on the Eagles Friday night to open up the regular season in Brazil. Packers the other day at practice, everybody practiced. Even Marshawn Lloyd coming back from his hamstring injury, but all 53 players on there practicing. So team looks to at least be in good shape heading into the postseason there. Matt LaFleur, though, non-committal on who's going to be his starting right guard, whether it's going to be Sean Ryan or Jordan Morgan, which nobody should be surprised that Matt LaFleur didn't make a commitment or didn't at least announce it publicly. That's his normal way of doing things over there. So, but as we get set for kickoff for the upcoming green and gold season here, NFL kicks off in 2 days. Packers, right? It's Tuesday. It's Friday. It's going to come up quick, man. But as we get set for the Packers opening up their season, the top 5, in your opinion, okay, the top 5 most influential Packers people, and I'm saying people because you can include coaches on this, but the top 5 most influential Packers people to determine or will be the deciding fact, however you want to phrase it, the most pivotal Packers people in helping this team get to a championship. Your top 5. Top 5. If you want, you can rank them. If you don't want to rank them, you just want to throw out 5 names, I just won't give you extra credit. Okay? Now that school's in session, got to get a little school theme in there. But your top 5, I've got mine. We'll see if ours match up, though. But your top 5 most pivotal, most influential Packers people to help maybe kind of determine, or these are the people that will determine if the Packers do, in fact, get a championship this year. So we'll hit that up coming up a little bit later on, too. But you can start to hit me up with your top 5 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line with a quick text, 715-830-1912. 715-830-1912. It is a Tuesday, so it is an ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? All right, get it off your chest. Let us know via that texting line, too, or hit us up on the video stream if you want to comment over there, too. So what's grinding your gears? We're going to talk some Badger football with Mr. R.J. Cardinal, the Badger football team, opening up their season on Friday with a 28-14 victory over Western Michigan. Your reaction from that game? I mean, just going, if I'm just using the social media verse, which is a very dangerous hole at some point, at certain points in time. I don't want to use the word panic, but I don't want to use the word frustrated, but I got the sense, at least from the social media side, that there was some Badger fans like, really 28-14 against Western Michigan? Or I don't know. Tyler Van Dyke finished 21-36 for a $192. Ches Malusi, 19 carries for 74 yards. Will Pauling had 60 yards receiving on 6 catches. I mean, at one point, fourth quarter, Western Michigan was up, and the Badgers, final 2 touchdowns to put it over the top there. So your reaction, your thoughts from that game Friday night, or are you the mindset like, hey, first game, it's not going to be perfect, going to be a little sloppy. Let's see them now coming up here in the next couple weeks, or hopefully maybe looking better against South Dakota in preparation for their game against Alabama, which is already coming up next week. I mean, could be Florida State. Florida State, after opening up the season ranked number 10, have now started the season off 0-2 with their loss to Boston College yesterday. So we'll talk some college football with Mr. RJ Cardinal coming up in a couple hours from now. But let's get things rolling here this morning, shall we? All right, we'll open it up with the Brewers. Final 24 games left to go in this regular season. We'll recap the game yesterday. Willy Adames, 5 straight games with home runs. He is the Steph Curry of baseball right now in terms of 3-run home runs, tied with Ken Griffey Jr. For the most in a season. He's got 13 this year. Oh, Jackson Cheerio did another thing. I mean, rookie sensation, couple hits, including the grand slam, his second of his career. I was going to say the second of the season, but second of his career. So we'll hit that up, talk a little bit about pitching staff, bullpen options, and then we'll get into a little green and gold chat. Your top 5 most pivotal, most influential Packers people that will help determine a very successful season, a championship type season. So let's get at it. All right, on this Tuesday morning, we'll take that first break, and then the leadoff to get us going here this morning. Stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Coming up this Sunday, it's the second annual Sports Cards Kickoff for Kids, hosted. It's at our good friends VFW Post at 305 on Star Avenue, but it's being done by our good friends at the Card Collecting Club. Brian does a fantastic job over there with this nonprofit to help get sports cards in kiddos' hands over there. This is a free event this Sunday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Don't have a Green Bay football game to worry about because they play Friday night. So 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., free event for the kids. It'll feature goodie bags at the door, free sports card breaks, contests to win numbered jersey and autograph cards, so much more. Silent auction with loads of amazing cards and sports memorabilia. As Brian and the Card Collecting Club notes, the best part is sharing the love of the hobby of sports cards collecting together in the Chippewa Valley. So looking forward to that. Hutsy and I are going to go over there on Sunday and such, but got nothing on the calendar. Go visit our good friends at the VFW Post 305 this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to check out the second annual Sports Card Kickoff for Kids. And you grab some lunch at the VFW. Grab a little breakfast over there too. The taco omelet is amazing at the VFW Post 305. All right, let's get things rolling here this morning, shall we? We got plenty of football talk coming up today and throughout the week as we get set for the regular season to kick off. But I want to open it up a little bit. Talking some Brewers. Brew Crew, after taking 3 out of 4 against the Reds, starting this past Friday, getting the doubleheader, getting the win on Saturday, falling just short on the walk-off on Sunday. Began a series yesterday against the Cardinals, and the Brewers powering their way to a 9-3 victory. Freddie Peralta went 5 1/3, giving up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, a couple of dingers on there too. But after that, bullpen locked it down, even though Hudson looked a little, I don't want to say struggled, up the pitch count a little bit there in his first inning of relief there. But nonetheless, him and Ross shutting it down, taking over for Peralta. But when you've got 9 runs there, you can throw out a couple relievers who can give you a couple innings out there too. So, and that's exactly what happened with the Brewers yesterday. Willy Adames, I mean, dude is let's hope this is something that can continue once we get to the postseason, right? What he's doing at the plate right now. Let's hope that this can continue, because this dude, his price tag's going up and up and up. I didn't know if the Brewers were going to be able to afford him a few weeks ago, and I really don't know if they're going to be able to afford him. I mean, you want to talk about a run that he's on, entering his contract your final month of the regular season, 5 straight games with a homer, tied for the most 3-run home runs in a season, 13, with Ken Griffey Jr. And his line right now, 29 home runs, 99 RBIs, an OPS of an 812, which is higher than his career averages of a 768. His on-base percentage is a 338, higher than his career average of a 323. His batting average right now is 255, higher than his career average of 249. In his last 30 games, Willy Adames is hitting 283 with an on-base of a 362, slugging 628, and 12 home runs and 28 RBIs. I mean, the man is hot at the plate right now. Hot at the plate. I mean, at the beginning of the season, it was kind of a, bases loaded situation for the Brewers. And it was like, maybe you should bet the money that they are going to get a grand slam. Now it's when, you got 2 on and Willy Adames is up the plate. It's like, oh, you feel maybe pretty good that you're going to get a 3-run shot there from Willy Adames. But the man has been on fire right now and has been a big boost to this Brewers offense as of late here. Hopefully, this is something that can continue as we get into the postseason here. Hopefully, he can continue to stay hot. We're going to need it when we get to that postseason. We're going to need it for a long playoff stretch there. Willy Adames staying hot at the plate. Speaking of staying hot at the plate, Jackson Cheerio, man. I mean, this kid is riding confidence. Apparently he called a shot yesterday. Before the guys are on, before the guys are on base. Apparently called a shot. It was gonna be a grand slam. Goes out there and does it. And I love it too because he's having a very successful season. So you're starting to hear more stories come out about him. And more interviews are obviously done with him, and reporters are asking questions to his teammates about him and such. And the teammates always talk about, he just oozes confidence. Like he'll go up to Freddie Peralta and just kind of have fun and say, see how good I am in that. And I was reading a little bit from, I think it was Kurt Hogg from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, talking about, rookie with a lot of confidence, maybe giving some flashbacks to a Ryan Braun who came in as a rookie with a ton of confidence too. But I mean, when you're playing this well, how do you not have all the confidence in the world? And again, I know I've said this a few times when it's come to Jackson Cheerio. I don't see him too often where he doesn't have a smile, even when he's rounding the bases. After his grand slam yesterday, dude's just got this big grin on his face going around. The kid is having fun. The thing is, remember, he's a kid. He's 20 years old. He's 20 freaking years old. He doesn't know any better right now. And he's just he's balling out there. He's having fun and obviously making a lot of money doing so too. But I mean, really, when you break this down and you look at his stretch going back, I don't know if we realize how good he has been since the month of June, for crying out loud. Okay. You look at his June numbers. Let's just break it down month by month to give you a little bit of a perspective and how awesome he has been at the plate. June, he hit 315. Okay, these are just June numbers. June, he hit 315. It's like that's when things really started to click for him. His on base percentage was a 363, slugging 534. That's just June. You look at his July numbers 317 batting average, 364 on base, slugging 512. August, he improved it again 321 batting average, 372 on base, 554 slugging. I mean, just in terms of batting average, he's kind of upticked it a little bit more every month. Obviously, just a couple games here to go in September, but I mean, he's kind of falling down here. He's only hit 286 so far in September. So it's like, come on, dude. But he's slugging 714 in 2 games in September. I mean, this kid, it's amazing. Take it in, Brewers fans, too. I mean, I know he's setting the bar incredibly high in his rookie season. And, in the rest of his career, especially next year and the next couple years, we're going to be comparing it to how he looked in his rookie year. So he is setting the bar incredibly high. Where us in Wisconsin, we've seen a few athletes who have set the bar so incredibly high that when maybe they don't play up to that level or they play a little bit down, which is still great play, you're like, what the heck is wrong with that guy? Aaron Rodgers was a big one, right? Aaron Rodgers would always just set that bar so incredibly high. Like if he was off a little bit, it's like, oh, dude, what's wrong with Aaron Rodgers? Not saying Jackson Cheerio is going to be to that level. It's still early in his career. That'd be awesome if he could get to that level. But this kid, I thought, if we go back to our preseason predictions, maybe a 230 batting average to finish off, a lot of highs and lows, and a lot of ups and downs, and that's how it kind of started for Jackson Cheerio to begin his career. But tip of the cap to him, man. Tip of the cap to this kid. What he's been doing is just incredible. And what he's been doing, especially since the month of June. We've talked about, it was like June maybe for some rookies on this team to really kick it off. Tobias Myers, we've talked about him, his ERA and how he's looked since the month of June, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball since the month of June. Jackson Cheerio is easily one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball since the month of June. I mean, this team is rolling right now. Got to be feeling pretty good right now where things are at. Taking 3 out of 4 against the Reds. taking this one against St. Louis. You're tied for the second most wins in all of Major League Baseball right now. The only team that's higher than you in wins is the Dodgers. And that's by 2 games. You're tied with Philly, who you're battling it out right now for a top 2 seed. And right now, the top 3 teams in the National League, they're playing some really good baseball. And that's why the Brewers haven't been able to make up a lot of ground on them. It's always kind of hovered 1.5, 2 back from the top spot there. Because the Dodgers are 7-3 in their last 10. Philly's 7-3 in their last 10. Brewers are 7-3 in their last 10. I mean, the top 3 teams in the National League in this final month of the regular season here, they're playing good baseball right now. They're playing some good baseball. Another team, too, you got to just saying, good thing that they've got a nice lead, but Cubbies are playing some good baseball, too. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games right now. But other than that, you look at, the last 10 game stretch, or these last 10 games in these 10 game stretch, you got the Mets who are 7-3, and then just one team in the American League who's up there in terms of records in their last 10 games, and that's the Tigers, who are 7-3 in their last 10 games. And this is going to be this is going to be a fun race to the finish between these top 3 teams in the National League. I mean, when you look at this final month, these final few weeks here, we know the Brewers schedule, right? Cardinals for a couple games, Colorado, win those games. Got to win those games. Got to take care of your business, right? Take care of your business and win these games against teams like the Cardinals and the Rockies coming up here. Get a little tougher after that. You got San Francisco for 3 games. You just got done with them at 3 at home, but you're going to be on the road. And then that stretch, not to overlook that 3-game series against San Francisco. But you got Arizona for 3 on the road, then you're back at home against Philadelphia starting on the 16th. Man. Whew. And then right after that, by the way, 4 games against Arizona. So that stretch from like the 13th all the way to the 22nd, that could tell us a lot where the standings or how the standings are going to look entering that final week of the regular season for Major League Baseball. It is a huge couple weeks there for the Brewers coming up here starting next weekend. But when you're looking at the upcoming schedule here too, if we're kind of doing, scoreboard watching here a little bit, we're like, okay, what's the Dodgers schedule look like? What does Philly's schedule look like compared to the Brewers here? Well, Dodgers got 2 quick games against the Angels starting today. But then they're home against the Guardians, home against the Cubs. We just said Cubs playing really good baseball, 8-2 in their last 10, maybe one of the better teams in baseball. I should say hottest teams in baseball as of late. Then they're on the road with 4 games against Atlanta. Marlins, Rockies, throw the Padres in there, then the Rockies to finish up the season. Philadelphia, meanwhile, they've got 2 games on the road against the Blue Jays. Then they're on the road against the Marlins. Then Tampa Bay. Then the Mets, who are fighting for a wild card spot. Then you got those 3 games against the Brewers. Mets for 4. Cubs. We'll see if the Cubs at that point maybe trying to get it to a wild card spot, and then they finish up against Washington. I don't know. There's not really. I don't think there's a schedule that just screams like, "Oh, that is way harder than everybody else," or that is so much easier than somebody else. Especially when it comes to baseball, I don't know. But that's kind of where things are at. I'm at that point now where I'm doing a little scoreboard watching. All right, did Philly win that game? Did they lose that game? What about the Dodgers? What are they doing in that game? This is going to be an awesome, just from a pure baseball sense, what a race to the finish here coming up here. And then you got, we mentioned the Mets are just a half game out from a wild card spot. They're 7-3 in their last 10, but they've won 5 in a row. And they're chasing their division rival, the Braves, right now. Cubbies 3.5 back. So Lots to play for yet in the National League. The American League is still. I feel like we've got our teams, but you're still kind of competing for maybe some divisions here because Yankees and Baltimore right now. The Yankees are holding on by the slimmest of margins to that division. Cleveland back in the driver's seats for their division after the Kansas City Royals have lost their last 6 in a row. Houston's leading their division, then Baltimore, Minnesota, Kansas City. But then you got Boston, who's the next closest team, and they're 4.5 out. But back to the Brewers here. Joe Ross yesterday came in for relief, closed out the game, finished off the game 2 innings. 2 innings of work here. It sure seems like moving Joe Ross to the bullpen here has been a move that not only benefited the Brewers, but I think has benefited Joe Ross. Joe Ross began the season. We all remember signing in the offseason is like, oh, okay, that's a typical Brewer move, hoping to maybe get something out of nothing here that was viewed as kind of a nothing. Not a big signing by any means, maybe a little bit of a reclamation project. And ups and downs, maybe a little bit more downs as of late. But ever since his move to the bullpen, Joe Ross has kind of been a different pitcher. He has allowed since August 6th, so we're talking, it's only 8 games here, but he's pitched in 15 total innings. He's allowed 1 earned run, and that 1 earned run came in his second game on August 11th, where he actually pitched 3 innings. 1 hit, 1 earned run, couple walks on there. Other than that, nothing. This is his lines. August 6th, 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, no earned runs. 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, couple walks, 3 strikeouts. 1 inning, 1 hit. 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs. 1 inning, 1 hit. 2 innings, 1 hit. 2 innings, 1 hit, all 3 Ks. And then yesterday, 2 innings, no hits, 4 Ks. Brewers, once they get, and it sounds like, Nick Mears is going to be coming back, Kobe Milner's going to be coming back here. You look at now with the bullpen, you look at Aaron Ashby, who's putting up 99 miles per hour on the radar gun here. And then you got DL Hall, who had a fantastic start the other day. Now, all of a sudden, the Brewers pitching, whether it's starters or bullpen, you're in a situation now where you've got some tough decisions when you get to playoff rosters and assuming everybody's healthy at that point. I mean, Joe Ross has transitioned very nicely into the bullpen. You bring in Aaron Ashby as a bullpen option now. You look at what DL Hall just did. Mears is going to be coming back. Is he a part of that equation? Kobe Milner. We know Devin Williams, Trevor McGill's back. I mean, now what was kind of a weakness because of injuries throughout the majority part of the season, it's trending to where Brewers got a ton of options. Really, when you look at it, I mean, whether it's a starter or whether it's bullpen, they're going to have some options. They're really going to have some options. And depending on how things shake out when they clinch and where they're at, I mean, I'm hoping they're still competing for a top 2 spot. But depending on how everything shakes out, might have some guys that have plenty of rest here too heading into this postseason. I mean, this has been a fantastic run right now for the Brewers. So, all right, we got to take a quick break here. We'll finish up the first hour. Coming up in a little bit, for the Packers, your top 5 most influential, most important players, people, to determine the success of the season. Coming up this Friday, we're going to be doing the program from Hy-Vee here in Eau Claire in honor of the Green and Gold kicking off their season Friday night. So we're going to be outside. Hopefully the weather's nice for us to broadcast outside, do a little tailgate show and such. But Hy-Vee's also got a lot of stuff planned for that morning. Breakfast-wise, got a little tailgate stuff there. Breakfast sandwiches, $4. Breakfast quesadillas, $4. Breakfast nachos, $4. Nachos, Green and Gold nachos over there too. 30% off the sports shop over there. So if you need some new swag, whether it is for Green and Gold or maybe some Badger stuff or for some of the local high schools, they got that over there. So 30% off the sports shop. Man Cave Light, the new Man Cave Light, Bent Paddle Brewing Company, $6.99. $2 with the purchase of that. You get $2 off Dan Good Burger or any gourmet burger, plus deals on ribs, or wings. Valley Popcorn got 12-inch pack cookie over there too. So maybe if you're having a little get together for the game Friday nights, look no further than heading over to our good friends at Hy-Vee to grab your supplies. Plus giveaways. Got some Packer appliances, sports shop gear, and a $50 gift card over there too. So again, stop on by. We're going to be doing our program. We're going to set up the mobile man cave over there. Brandon and I will be out there getting ready to kick off the season, even though kicks off the night prior with Chiefs and Ravens and such. But, you know, when we got a game on a Friday night, we got to celebrate a little bit too, right? Get ready for that. Speaking of football season, though, too, make your football season even better this year with Underdog Fantasy. Excited to work with Underdog Fantasy this year with Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like touchdowns and receiving yards. It's so easy to do the pick'ems. I was actually working on mine yesterday, doing a couple pick'ems over there. And I'll be honest, like I was a little nervous because I don't know a whole lot about the pick'ems sort of stuff. But Underdog Fantasy makes it so simple to use. It's like, oh yeah, I think that guy's gonna get over 50 yards rushing. Click higher, boom. That's it. That's simple. That's simple for pick'em. So making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's website, underdogfantasy.com, or download their app. Sign up with the promo code Kasper. That's Kasper, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Again, that promo code Kasper, Kasper, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 and older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. We'll talk a little Green and Gold coming up in the next hour to kick it off. But looking for your top 5, shall we say, most influential, most important Packers people to lead them to a championship for this season. So the top 5 people, and I say people because you can include coaches into this thing. So it's not just players. Maybe you got all players. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to include coaches, that's why I'm using the word people instead of players. But the top 5 most crucial, most pivotal, most important, most influential Packers people this year to lead the team to a very successful season, to lead the team to what we're all hoping for, if you're Packers fans, a championship season. Your top 5. And if you want, you can rank them 1 through 5. If not, you just want to throw out 5, that's fine. I just want to give you extra credit on your first homework assignment of the new school year. But hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. 715-830-1912. All right, your top 5 to get ready for this upcoming Green and Gold season that kicks off Friday nights. Packers practiced the other day, and sure looks like they're going to be bringing a healthy team to Brazil. Everybody practiced for the Packers Everybody practiced ahead of, they're going to be flying out to Brazil tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, it looks like. So, but that does include Marshawn Lloyd. Apparently, too, a lot of Packer people liking the new kicker, Braden Narvis. I know we had a listener a couple times mention that his wife is from Prescott's, and I believe our listener said too, it's our listener's wife's related to his wife. We'll have to go through those texts over there too. So does obviously have a little Wisconsin connection, but Matt LaFleur said, do I have confidence in him? I absolutely do. Jair Alexander apparently came up to Matt LaFleur during a practice and was singing the praises of their new kicker. So hopefully we'll have our kicker for the foreseeable future here for the Pack. So, and maybe that's one of your top 5 Packers people, huh? Maybe. I've got my 5, but I'll wait till the top of the hour to reveal it. Plus, we're going to catch up on some Badger stuff with Mr. RJ Cardinal, recapping, reacting from the Friday win against Western Michigan, even though I think there was some nervous Badger fans there heading into the fourth quarter there, down. But then the Badgers putting up a couple touchdowns to secure the victory. But are you freaking out about after that game? Are you worried about what you saw from that game? Or are you like, you know what? First game of the season, I'm not too concerned right now at this point in time. So your thoughts on what you saw from the Badger football team Friday night? You got South Dakota State coming up here before that matchup against Alabama next week here. But we'll get RJ's thoughts coming up at about, let's say 8:20 here this morning, 8:20 this morning. So, but definitely curious to see if our listeners kind of go with what I was seeing on social media. I don't know if freak out is the right way to say it, but maybe just kind of like, oh, really? Sort of thing. But then there were a few Badger fans out there saying, first game, first time out in the field. Let's ease it up here a little bit. Let's see how they do against South Dakota to maybe really get a better feel of what this team is like. So, also, don't forget it is an ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. Maybe that Badger game is what's grinding your gears. Maybe that's, I know a couple of you already texted in a little bit earlier saying it's an ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday, and you're grinding your gears about what you saw from the Badger football game on Friday. That's what's grinding your gears. Do we have any more takers for that? But we'll get to those texts coming up a little bit later on here too. But if you got something else that's maybe grinding your gears, let me know. I'll tell you a little bit of a tease on mine. It's going to be related to the Brewers. Not the Brewers, but a certain perception on this Brewers team that I want to grind my gears about here a little bit. So it's not about the team itself or anybody on the Brewers. It's something I saw quite a bit over the weekend from this extended weekend. I'm like, really? Still? What? I'll hang on to that coming up in the next hour here too. It's a little Rodney Dangerfield, can't get no respect sort of thing. So, and maybe that's what suits the Brewers best. Hey, it's like the Badger basketball model from 2015. Make them believe. Let's make them believe. May bug us as fans that they don't get maybe a lot of respect in the national side, public side here, but maybe that's what's best for this team. So, but we'll get to that coming up here in the next hour here. We'll finish up with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
How's it going, Kasper?
Good. How are you?
Good. So did you guys have a good Labor Day?
Yeah, didn't do a whole lot. Worked on the land a little bit, but
what'd you do? What does working on the land mean in your definition?
Tree stands, getting ready for hunting season.
Yeah, so. You are getting out there.
Yeah.
You in the mode already? Crisp mornings, football coming back.
Yeah.
Time to get into it.
This is the wheelhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're talking about top 5 key players for Packers this season.
Key people, key players. Yeah.
So let's take it to the personal world here. Coming back to school, like for a lot of families, this is official. Like, okay, for real, getting back to school. What are your top 5 key players from your educational history that you would say had the heaviest influence in your school career? Academically, sports, personally, anything like that? Family excluded.
I don't have to rank them. I can just say
You
5,
can
right?
just say 5. It doesn't have to be, but like I'm talking anybody from
Mhm.
your school and the kind of upbringing, childhood career that had the biggest influence in
So
forming
not
Casper.
family though.
Families excluded, no
Okay.
family allowed.
I'll stick with teachers and coaches.
Okay.
How about that? I'll go with Mr. Waller,
Okay, so tell us who Mr. Waller
my
is.
3rd grade teacher.
All right.
Gave me the nickname Dion Primetime.
Nah,
Uh,
I know, no, wait. You gave yourself
no, I didn't. No, I did not.
you wrote Dion on your homework.
Mr. Waller. 'Kay.
Confirm or deny, Medford?
Oh, I'll shoot him a message. See,
Okay.
you know, but this was a story really quick. Again, people are probably turning off right now. He always played football with us at recess. He was all-time quarterback.
Okay.
And this one game, I intercepted him. Well, he
Okay.
would always pick, okay, you guys are the 49ers, you guys are whatever. I intercepted him and I returned it for a touchdown.
Uh-huh.
He comes in after recess, goes up to the chalkboard because we had chalkboards back then. Game MVP, Dan Kasper.
Okay. So
That's how it started.
how long did it stick?
Oh,
All the way through?
Yeah. I mean, there was when I was in college, my roommate still had primetime in their cell phones.
Okay, so we have Mr. Waller.
One time, Mr. Waller got mad when I put on my my homework assignment because I think I was mad at him for something or whatever. So I put Dan, and he got mad at me for not putting Dion.
Okay, so we give
Mr.
Mr. Waller a heavy hit. Okay, Mr. Waller's on the list high.
Mr. Wilson,
Sounds
high
like
school
Dennis the
science
Menace.
high school science teacher. He's a current football coach over in Medford right
Hey,
now.
go Medford.
Coach Vara, golf coach. Mr. Betcher he's actually in Menominee right now, but he was my basketball coach in 8th grade and science.
What's he doing with Mustangs right now,
I think
coaching?
he's like a activities director, I think,
Okay,
over there
okay.
for Menominee. But Mr. Betcher was awesome. Awesome Three Stooges impression. If you ever
Of all
into-
3 of them or of one
he did
particular?
like the curly shuffle all the time.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So Mr. Betcher, I
I wonder if he's dusted that off for the new generation over in Mustang Country.
Maybe. I'd go Mrs. Coyle too. I think she left, but her and her husband actually went to Singapore to go teach after she was my 5th grade teacher.
Whoa, that's
So,
quite
but
the
she was-
haul.
yeah.
And what did she teach?
Well, she was my main 5th grade teacher.
Oh, so your classroom teacher in
Yeah.
5th grade.
Yep.
Okay,
So-
now what do you think of all those? What was the big takeaway lesson that you think all of those people melded together that you can say you walked away from the halls of Medford with? You grabbed your diploma and you felt like this is what I'm bringing out into the world.
Oh man, I don't know. But they all had like a weird sport. Even Mrs. Coyle.
Yeah. I'm sensing a trend here.
She was a huge Bulls fan, so she had Dennis Rodman posters in her classroom.
Okay.
And I remember we had in January mini courses they were called.
Mm-hmm.
She did a sports card collecting one.
Okay, so clearly,
There's
not
a
only
sports thing to it.
only has the theme been established here, I would think you can say thanks to a lot of your teachers. You're sitting in here doing a sports show today. There
Mhm.
seems to be some formative years and some good influence coming out of the halls of Medford.
Yeah.
Very
So,
nice.
Yep. Somebody tweeted that Mr. Betcher now is the middle school principal at Menominee. So
Is he?
all right.
All right.
So
Well,
there you go.
salute. I wonder if he does the
Coach
shuffle
Betcher.
down the hall.
Yeah.
Get those kids inaugurated into the Three Stooges humor, Mr. Betcher. Come on.
Exactly. Right. So
Well, to all the teachers starting classes and back to school for real, hope it's a good start for you.
Second hour kicking off on this Tuesday morning of September 3rd. Appreciate you all tuning in, wherever, however you may be tuning in from. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk coming up a little bit later on. Game 2 of this series against the Cardinals tonight, 6:40 Brewers with a win will ensure a series win against the Cardinals after picking up a 9-3 victory yesterday. So we get Aaron Savali on the mound for the Crew, looking for his 6th win of the season. Wednesday's game, Colin Ray going up against Sonny Gray in 2 matchups of 12 wins, 12-win pitchers over there. So, but we'll get back to some more Brewers chats coming up a little bit. Actually, I've got a little Brewers thing for my Grind My Gears Tuesday that'll be here in just a minute. Coming up in a couple minutes, my top 5 most influential, most important, most pivotal Packers people. And I say people because we can include coaches on this if you want. But the top 5 most important Packers people for this season, with hopefully what we're all hoping will end in a championship, right? I mean, so who do you think are the 5 most important people? Gotta leave it at 5, and you don't have to rank them if you don't want to. You can if you want, but who are the most important 5 Packers people for this season for the Packers to have a successful season, to hopefully have a championship season? All right, you can make your picks by hitting me up with a text, 715-830-1912. Let's do a little ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. ASAP Used Auto Parts, if you're looking for somewhere to get your oil changed or maybe get some new tires or just looking to save some money on some high-quality used auto parts, look no further than ASAP Used Auto Parts in Eau Claire, located at 1330 Menominee Street in Eau Claire, just across the street from the Do Dodge over there. Get your appointment in for a quick oil change and for the best deal on tires in the Chippewa Valley. So this weekend, I noticed quite a bit. Now you're starting to see some odds of World Series champions, right? We're starting to see some odds for who people think are going to be the favorites to win the World Series here. And you've got your usual suspects at the top. And I saw this on the mothership, ESPN, okay? Saw this on the mothership. And when I saw those, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is where we're at. Still a team that is tied for the second most wins in all of Major League Baseball, has the biggest lead in their division. Biggest lead in their division. Still, no respect. World Series odds. Dodgers have the top. This is ESPN's plus 300. Yankees second, plus 500. Tied with Philly, who are plus 500. Okay. Baltimore's the next, plus 700. Okay. Then you got Houston, plus 900. Then you got Cleveland, plus 1,400. Then you got the Padres, plus 1,500. Then the Brewers are tied with the Twins at a plus 1,600. Even I was just like, okay, so you've got the Dodgers, Philly, Yankees, Baltimore. Okay, I get it. But Brewers and then Atlanta's not far behind them too. I'm like, still no, not a lot of love from bettors out there, from national peeps out there for the Brewers. Yeah, Willie Adames, who's playing some awesome baseball from the plate. You got a Rookie of the Year candidate. You've got guys that nobody has heard about or they don't know a whole lot about because you don't cover them from a national side. So they ain't getting the respect that they probably deserve at this point in time. Whatever. Keep overlooking the Brewers. Keep overlooking them. I'm sure there's even Brewers fans who are doubters here a little bit too. I get it to an extent. I understand. But you're telling me right now, based off of what we've seen, I mean, what else do we have to see from this Brewers team from this year, from this season, to say they've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, tied for the 9th best odds? Come on. Give them a little bit more love than that. But more love than that. And it wasn't just the mothership. Saw it some other places too where they're like, I think I even saw one where they weren't even a top 10 for best odds to win a World Series. So that's my grind my gears. Still, no love for the Brewers. Not even on the betting lines out there. Better for people who want to bet on the Brewers, I guess. So, all right, let's switch it over here a little bit to some Packers chat. Packers kick off their season Friday night against the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. The Packers will be flying out Wednesday morning, and they look to be pretty darn healthy. Everybody practiced for the Packers. Everybody on that 53-man roster has been practicing for the Packers for the last couple days here. So they look healthy. Still a little bit of an unknown who's going to be the starting right guard for this team. Matt LaFleur not commenting or not making anything official at this point in time. Could be Sean Ryan. Could be Jordan Morgan. Could be a rotation over there. So we'll see how it all plays out. Our first glimpse on Friday in that. But with game day here just a couple days away, do a little bit of a countdown here as we get set for kickoff. Your top 5 most important, your top 5 most pivotal Packers people out there. My top 5. I'm going to go with, in no particular order, I'm going to go Jordan Love because of obvious reasons. I'm going to go Jordan Love. I think you got to pick up where he left off last year. Maybe even take it up another level if that's possible, even though he was like the best quarterback in the last couple months of the regular season. But Jordan Love, that's the easy one. I'm going to go Jeff Hafley. A lot of hype, a lot of excitement surrounding his new defense. We're all hearing the positive stuff. We're all hearing everything's peachy, everything's in that honeymoon phase. But now that the regular season is here, honeymoon's over, talk's over. Let's see it actually on the field. Let's see the performance on the field. So Jeff Hafley's defense, Jeff Hafley calling the plays, to me, he's a top 5 Packers person for this season. Kenny Clark, new defense, a lot of talk about him better suited for this style of defense. Well, let's see it. I think he's better suited for this defense. Let's see him. Maybe now. I mean, I think he's been an overrated defensive tackle, not overrated, overlooked defensive tackle. Not getting a lot of appreciation, not getting a lot of love within the style of defense that he has had to play throughout his career. Now I think he's got a chance to shine. And if he could be a dominant defensive tackle on that line, that sets the tone for the rest of the defense. Matt LaFleur as an offensive play caller, I thought really grew as a play caller last year, especially towards the end of the season. It felt like during that stretch into the postseason, he was always one step ahead of the opposing defensive play caller. Can he continue that? What else does he have in store this year as an offensive play caller? Now more familiar with Jordan Love, more familiar with his younger receivers and tight ends. And he's got a new toy with Josh Jacobs. So Matt LaFleur, as the offensive play caller, to me has made the top 5. And speaking of Josh Jacobs, he's the other one. New running back in town, maybe a little bit more of a bell cow type of running back out there, going to be involved in the passing game. Could he get 400 touches this year? 400 touches in terms of running and as a pass catcher. But if Josh Jacobs can be a dominant runner, opens up so much more for that passing game for the Pack this year. That's my top 5. What are your top 5? We've got Dustin going Kenny Clark, Jair, Jacobs, Watson, and Love. Jeremy's going Jordan Love, Eric Stokes, or whoever's opposite of Alexander. Matt LaFleur, Walker, or whoever's going to be at left tackle. And then Rich Bisaccia, special teams. Yeah, you could throw your new kicker in there too. No doubt about it. He was my number 6 on there. Definitely throwing the new kicker. A little bit of an unknown. Keep your picks coming. Hit me up with a text. Got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more after these quick words. Hunting season has already began if you are a early waterfall teal hunter and such, and so has our quest. The Ultimate Wisconsin Outdoorsman Quest is officially now open. What it is, just head to our website, sportstalk1051.com. Click on the Outdoors tab there for more info. Essentially, it's a checklist. If you are a big-time outdoorsman, lover of the outdoors, spend a lot of time out there, well, prove it. We want to crown who is the ultimate Wisconsin outdoorsman, adult and youth. So just snap a picture of, out enjoying the outdoors, or maybe you get a deer. We got a huge checklist over there. So just a couple of examples that we've got. If you get a deer with a bow, a whitetail buck with a bow, snap a photo, upload it. All right. It's got to be this year. We can tell. All right. So no cheating. Or maybe you get a turkey. Maybe open water fishing and you catch a pike. Snap a photo, upload it. All right. Whoever gets the most checked off this list. It's a big checklist, so I'm not expecting anybody, and I shouldn't say this because somebody probably will, but I'm not expecting anybody to get everything off there. But whoever gets the most checked off on this checklist, you could be crowned the ultimate Wisconsin outdoorsman. Year-long thing on here, because we know there's certain seasons when it comes to the outdoors over there too. So I mean, we've even got foraging, whether you're out there finding morel mushrooms or ramps or raspberries, hiking a trail, going on a camping trip, finding a deer shed. Snap those photos. Again, we can tell. So no old photos. We can tell. We got ways. All right, we got ways. So you got to snap that photo and upload it, and then maybe you could be crowned the ultimate Wisconsin outdoorsman in that quest. More details at our website, sportstalk1051.com. Just click on the Outdoors tab. And speaking of the hunting season, if you're getting ready maybe for the deer season coming up in November, or maybe you were heading out this past weekend and you decided you needed a new shotgun to hit the woods, well, head on over to our good friends at Tilden Gun, Sean and Hunter. They'll help you find just exactly what you're looking for. You can also check out their awesome selection at tildengun.com. Best prices in the Chippewa Valley, biggest selection in the Chippewa Valley. Again, tildengun.com, or visit their shop. All right. It's kind of like if you haven't been there before, it's like the ultimate outdoorsman's man cave over there. All right. 12427 90th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. Again, 12427 90th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. You can visit them and check it all out over there. Or again, you can visit tildengun.com if you are in the market for a new deer rifle or shotgun over there too. So, all right, continuing our Packers chats here this morning. The Packers getting set to take on the Eagles this Friday. We'll get back to some more of your texts coming through here. Got quite a few to get to here, but we'll say good morning to Joe. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Captain.
How are you?
It's September.
Yeah.
It's 50 degrees out. It's September. We've got football coming this weekend. Professional football. Of course, we've had Friday Night Lights for the last couple of weeks, and Badgers kicked off last week. So it is truly the gateway to my favorite time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can you not be excited about it? Green Bay, Philadelphia, Friday Night Lights.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So looking at this, Packers will fly out tomorrow. They're pretty darn healthy. Everybody practicing the last couple of days leading up to,
including Marshawn Lloyd.
Yep. Leading up to this matchup. So looking at the season overall, who are the top 5 most important, most influential Packers people for this season?
Players or coaches?
That's why I say people.
Okay, got it. I caught that. Yep. I caught that. Well, obviously, number one is Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
You build on, I think what you saw last year, especially that back half of the year, can he continue to get better? I thought, and you're going to help me with this, Captain, if you can. Was it Tannenbaum?
Mike Tannenbaum.
Yep. Who talked about who he would take other than Pat Mahomes. And he said Jordan Love. And so I think Jordan Love is number one.
I'll play devil's advocate. Maybe that's why he's not a general manager anymore.
Very true. Very true. Good call on that one. I would say Hafley, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a new defense, and it's interesting. I was thinking about, our conversation today, and I remember last year going into that Chicago game and you asking me, what do you think? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to think. And you had so many question marks last year. Now, not so many question marks offensively, but now halfway with that defense. So I think that's number 2 from that standpoint. I think number 3 is going to be Josh Jacobs. I think he will make that offense go. Again, I don't care what kind of receiving core you have, what kind of tight end group you have. If you have that back, that guy, that dude, he changes the dynamic. And so I'm going to go with him. I think I'm going to go with Rashawn Gary as number 4.
Okay.
Looking at it from a new position standpoint, this ties back into the defense as a whole. But you've got a guy who transitioned from a hand in the dirt guy in college to a guy that was a stand-up 3-4 outside backer in the pros and now putting his hand back in the dirt. And I think I'd almost want to say Rashawn Gary, Jair Alexander tied at that level because Jair Alexander needs to be that shutdown corner this year. And then really, going back to it's Matt LaFleur. I think you have to, A, he's the head coach, B, he's the play caller. And so I would have to go, and again, if you allow me the opportunity to give that tie to Jair and Rashawn for number 4, then those would be my guys as far as the guys that if this team is going to be successful, those guys need to have a good year.
No, we had 4 of the same, so there we go.
Okay, who were yours?
I had Kenny Clark besides Rashawn Gary or Jair.
Okay.
Setting the tone up front.
Okay.
With the defensive line. So
same kind of feeling though, that you're looking at it and say, look, these are the guys that are going to make this thing go. And so I think it's a great question. And I put this out on Twitter today, and I know it's been debated. I want to ask you this now. I think one of those receivers takes hold of that quote unquote number 1.
The natural progression.
Yes, I think it becomes it's a very organic thing.
Yep.
Out of those 4, and it's Wicks, it's Watson, it's Reed, and it's Dobbs, who takes that?
I think if you're looking at it from now, who has the best intangibles to do that would be Watson. However,
right, and I'm in agreement there.
Yep. Like I think Watson. I mean, speed, height. Yep. He's got everything. However, that's not my pick.
Yep.
I think it's naturally going to be Wicks.
See, and I think naturally Dobbs.
Okay. See, I'm going Wicks and Reed. This is a bold prediction time. I think Wicks and Reed are going to be your top 2 receivers.
And I wouldn't have any issue with that at all. See, what I like with Dobbs, the more I see Dobbs play out there, and the more I like the little nuances of his game that come out. And again, I think Wicks has the ability to play in space like Devontae Adams did. Watson, you're absolutely right. You look at the paper, you look at the tape, it's Christian Watson. I think Jaden Reed being a slot guy, and I'm just going to say this because Randall Cobb, as a slot guy, his career blew up and then kind of came back down. And I think that's if you're, and I want to say just a slot guy because Jaden Reed, I think, is one of the best in the business.
And he's played outside too.
He has, but he really excels in that slot position. So I don't think, but I think they're all going to have great seasons. I think like last year, and I look at the playoff run that Dobbs had, like last year, I think the hands, the ability to get open, the chemistry, I like Dobbs. And so again, I think there is going to be an organic progression from that receiving room.
Yeah. I think for me, for Dobbs, and I'll quote Pro Football Focus when they said this, and I get what they were saying too a couple weeks ago. Mr. August when it comes to Romeo Dobbs.
Yep.
We've been talking about him since his rookie year,
right?
How great he looked, and you look at the regular season numbers, not a sustained, right? He's had his highs and lows there a little bit. To me, I want to see him take that jump this year.
See, I thought he did in the playoffs. So I thought he did in the playoffs,
and that's where I want to see it on a consistent now for the regular season.
Gotcha.
Like you hear great things from Jair. He's the second best receiver in the league behind Devontae. But it's Jair. He's not going to credit anybody else.
Yeah, right. No,
at that point,
Jair is pretty smart about that. He's got a little bit Leroy Butler in him from that standpoint when he talks. It's very intentional,
right? And I think Wicks, I didn't want to fully say Wicks right away because I think there's so much hype coming into him in his second year. And, the first time we saw the starters and the only time we saw the starters, he gets a 70-some yard touchdown at that point. But maybe that's the benefit of him, though, too, because if, you're going up against opposing defenses, you've got Watson and Dobbs and Reed that are going to get the attention. Maybe Wicks is that guy, too. So
yeah, absolutely. And look, Christian Watson, by talking about it in this manner, I don't want to minimize the role that Christian Watson has on this football team.
They all bring something different, don't they?
Absolutely.
That's what's unique about this.
I would say this. The ability to play space in his zone, I think it's Jaden Reed. The ability to take the top off of defense, it's Christian Watson. I think separation is Dontavian Wicks, and I think hands is Romeo Dobbs. That's where I would put them, and they all do bring something different to the table. But I do think there's going to be that organic step. I also think don't be surprised if Tucker Kraft takes a bigger jump than Luke Musgrave. Everyone talks about Musgrave being the athletic tight end and the guy down the seam, and Tucker Kraft is the guy to do, quote unquote, the dirty work a little bit more from that 12 personnel tight end package. I look at it, and you look at the athleticism of Tucker Kraft, and I think that's underrated because you look at their numbers coming out, and they're pretty comparable as far as that. Even though, Musgrave, he seems to – Musgrave to me is more of a bulked up wide receiver, whereas I think Tucker Kraft is an athletic tight end. So with that difference. So that's another interesting thing I'm going to watch is, we talk about the 4 wide receivers, but how are they going to integrate those 2 tight ends as well? Because I think that becomes a big part of this offense.
Who ends up being the most impactful rookie safety, Evan Williams or Javon Bullard?
I'm going to say Bullard. I'm going to say Bullard. I think it's going to be, and you and I have talked about this. Don't be surprised by the end of the year if they're both out there. And again, I know Keyshawn Nixon has proclaimed he's the nickel. But don't be surprised if by the end of the year Bullard's the nickel and Evan Williams is playing that other safety. And again, look, I don't care what level you're at. If you're a freshman playing JV, a JV kid playing varsity, a freshman in college playing on the big stage on Saturdays, or a rookie or a first-year guy, second-year guy going into that first NFL game, that regular season game. When the lights go on, some of these guys, it's just too bright for them. And so it's going to be interesting, even though there's a lot of hype about these rookies, especially those rookie safeties. I think, again, who can play well under that kind of pressure, under those lights, under that scrutiny, if you will. So, and again, I do feel good about the fact that we as fans are not relying to see 2 rookie safeties. The Xavier McKinney factor, the X factor, if you will, I think is going to be huge this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Looking at this game now with the Eagles, obviously they've got a lot of talent over there. They also have some new coaching assistants, Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator over there.
And they've been very secretive about their defense. They've been very cloak and dagger about their defense.
But how much would they change? Vic Fangio is an older guy.
He is.
Obviously Packers ran a similar type of style with Joe Barry the last few years. Does that give Green Bay an advantage heading into this? You got 2 teams with 2 brand new defensive coordinators. Does that give Green Bay maybe a little bit of advantage because Jeff Hafley is still a little bit of an unknown?
Tiny advantage, because I think Philadelphia is going to throw some wrinkles. I think the reason that they've gone very secretive about this is I think everyone assumed and says the same thing, that it's Vic Fangio's defense. It, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think they're going to bring something else to the table. And if you played this defense in October or November rather than September, especially the first game of the year, I think you'd have enough tape to say, okay, I see what he's doing. But I think he's going to put enough wrinkles in there. I think this is going to be a heck of a game, and I actually think Vic Fangio is the wild card in this game. If he brings something, and if he brings that unscouted look to the Eagles defense, I think it could be a long day. Not a long day for Jordan Love of that offense, but I think they could have some struggles to be consistent in the game from a 4-quarter perspective. And so I think if the Eagles are going to win this game, I think it comes down to Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
And it could come down to Kellen Moore. Again, wrinkles there with a new OC. And I think Nick Sirianni is on the hot seat. So I think they're coming into this game with a little bit more pressure than the Green Bay Packers, I think. But I think those unknowns are a little bit more pronounced than Green Bay's.
Yeah. The honeymoon with Jeff Hafley's over with, though, right?
Oh.
All the talk and all the hype surrounding. Now it's time to put the proof on the field there.
Look, you go back to the game, and really a bell cow game, if you will, for Jordan Love when he came in for Aaron Rodgers against the Eagles a few years ago.
By the way, bell cow is our sales manager's favorite phrase. He loves it whenever I say that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
So whenever we say bell cow, we have to have him in mind. So,
okay.
I don't know if he's listening right now.
I'm sure he's listening. I'm sure he's listening.
Yeah.
That is his favorite.
Apparently. He's like, that's such a Wisconsin thing, he said. So
there we go. All right. I didn't know.
Now you know. So
I'm going to bring it up in the sales meeting after this. And so I'm going to say it's a bell cow kind of sales meeting.
Yes.
So you go back to that game where I think the Packer organization realized they had what they had in Jordan Love. And you go back to that game against Philadelphia when Rodgers went out. And you look at that game, and if this defense and the Green Bay could not stop Philadelphia that night. They couldn't stop Jalen Hurts running, throwing. If you see those same types of things, the honeymoon's over. I mean, everyone's saying the right things. And yeah, as a football fan, as a coach myself, is he a guy that I'm like, yeah, baby, let's go? But I don't. That sometimes the hype gets a little bit bigger than what's actually on the field. And so, yeah, absolutely. Now, if Green Bay holds Philadelphia to 17 points, then because this is one of the better offenses in the NFL. You forget, you look around the lineup and you say, okay, they got him. Oh, they have Saquon Barkley. And so, you kind of look up and down that roster and you're like, okay, they're loaded. They are loaded. And so you keep this team, and I'll say under 20. Even then there's reason to be very optimistic. This becomes a shootout, and you can chalk it up into they're a really, really good offense. But I think at that point, I'm not saying you throw the baby out with the bathwater, but at that point you got to start questioning it just a bit more, because I think right now he's got a hall pass. Up to this point, he's had a hall pass to say, oh, he's saying all the right things, he's doing all the right things. Man, I love him. People are saying that if he's as successful as they think he's going to be.
Oh, he's going to be gone in the next couple of years.
His tenure in Green Bay will be very short, which is fine. If that happens, fine. But it'll be interesting to see Friday night what actually you see on the field. Does it translate from the talk and the practice field to the game on Friday?
With these top 5 lists, I haven't seen anybody mention them yet, but should Quay Walker get a little bit more? I mean, you look at these linebackers, we haven't seen Edgerrin Cooper, because he's dealing with injury. We've seen Hopper, who's showed speed and flashes in there. Isaiah McDuffie, Wilson's been mostly a special teams guy throughout his career, but he's going to get, you look at these linebackers here, and I look at Quay Walker as a guy. Is he kind of, maybe we're overlooking him maybe just
what I think he would be in that next 5. If you said give me 10, I think Quay Walker's in that next 5. And so, again, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, he's got the green dot, right?
Yep.
And so he's going to get the defensive calls. He's got to get guys in place. And so that's, I think, an underrated part of the defense. And when you look at who has that green dot, and Quay Walker is going to be on the field a lot. He's pretty much all the time. I mean, if he doesn't get injured this year, probably you're looking at 95% of the snaps. And so, no doubt, I think you put him high up in that next 5 as a guy that's not only has to make plays on the field, but has to get his teammates aligned and get them into the right place. And again, Hafley's talked a lot about, hey, we're just letting it rip, man. Once the game comes, we're letting it rip and go out there. Well, there still needs to be some fundamentals. There still needs to be a scheme. There still needs to be putting guys in the right position, and that's going to be up to Quay Walker.
Looking at, maybe the one question that's left to be answered, Matt LaFleur obviously not answering it, which is no surprise. The right guard, Sean Ryan or Jordan Morgan. Could it be a rotation? Is it going to be one of those other guys? If it is a rotation, does that make you nervous?
Not given the circumstances. Given the fact that Morgan's a rookie and unfortunately did not get the reps he probably needed this offseason
Mm-hmm.
with the injury. And so if he would have had a lot of the reps and you saw what you had and you're still rotating, that's a red flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it what it is now and seeing it as, okay, they got a guy who really hasn't played a lot of interior line. And so we need to see what he can do in a game situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not as concerned with the rotation this early on in the season, given the circumstances and the context. But I would certainly like to see one of those guys take it and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think you want that in any position.
Cohesiveness, right?
Yeah, especially on that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think, by the way, Rasheed Walker, Zach Tom, also in that next 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because I think you've got to have strong play from your tackles. And so, yeah, I would like to see someone take it and run with it. Rotation right now, given again, like I said, with Morgan getting injured, I think I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so looking at this game coming up on Friday, your biggest keys to victory and then a prediction.
I think it's going to be the Eagles' pass rush. I think if Jordan Love has time, and again, this goes back to Vic Fangio with that defense. If Jordan, I think the key to victory for Green Bay is going to be, can Jordan Love stay clean as far as his jersey goes? Can he stay upright? Is he going to have time in the pocket for some of these long developing plays? And we saw it again towards the end of last year, that Jordan Love had exquisite time towards the end of last season. I mean, he had all day in the pocket on the run at the end of the regular season and then the playoff games. And so if he has that kind of time to let these longer plays develop, these explosive plays develop, I think Green Bay wins the game. I think if Philadelphia comes out and gets a lot of heat on Jordan Love and the Packer offense quickly, and he's consistently under duress during the evening, I think Green Bay ends up losing this game.
Mm-hmm. I need him to at least get 6 yards rushing.
How many yards?
6.
6. Okay.
For our underdog fantasy pick.
Okay. 6.
It's like 5.5. Well, then I started looking. I'm like, ooh. Beginning of the year last year, he ran a lot, but then at the end,
he was looking at.
So I'm thinking just 6. Just give me 6. Then I've got that one.
So yeah, I'm glad you qualified that on why 6, because I'm like, okay, that's
the line's at 5.5.
Interesting number that you pulled out as a key to victory there. So
I just need that key to victory for me.
For you, I get it now.
For me, so I need that. But.
So have you made your pick yet?
Not yet.
All right. So I know, I'm on Tuesdays, and I could change my mind during the week. I think Philadelphia wins this game.
You think Philly wins it?
I do, and I don't know why. Maybe it's cautious, and maybe it's just that. Maybe there's no logical, rational reason why. I just think. Again, I think Vic Fangio is dialing something up that Green Bay is not going to see coming. And do I think it's going to be a close game? Absolutely. I don't think either way it's going to be a blowout.
Right.
And so, but I'm going to go with Philadelphia. And when I look at my 12-5 pick, I had them when I really looked at the first part of the season, as I'm looking at the schedule right now, Philadelphia, Indy, Tennessee, Minnesota, Los Angeles, Arizona, Houston, Jacksonville, Detroit. I only see at the most a couple of losses in this first half of the season. And I think this is if it were played at Lambeau, I would have given it to the Packers. If it would have played in Philadelphia, probably would have gone with Philadelphia on this. And I was actually surprised when I looked at the spread that Philly is favored by 2.5, I believe.
Yeah.
I was surprised at that, but is what it is. So I think Philadelphia wins this game, and I think it comes down to Vic Fangio's defense throwing a curveball to Matt LaFleur's offense.
Don't know. Anthony Campanelli was on Fangio's staff last year, but again, that was Miami, and that was a debacle on defense. So don't really think you could take away anything from that. So,
I mean, again, and I'll be curious to know where your head's at when you make your pick, because I'm having a tough one with this one, and it goes back to, like I said, when you and I talked last year before the Bear game, what to expect. I don't know yet.
And this is going to be cliche. Whoever wins the turnover battle.
No question.
I mean, it's cliche, but I can see that happening easily.
Yeah, this is going to be a close football game. I think they're evenly matched. I think these two teams are going to be there, at the end as far as the teams out of the NFC to represent. And so, I think it's a great start to the NFL season. I think they've got two teams with pretty intense fan bases.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a great football game on Friday night. And I think Philadelphia, though, I just think it's going to come down to Vic Fangio throwing a curveball that Matt LaFleur says, yeah, we didn't see that one coming.
The thing that's giving me pause, where I'm struggling back and forth, is obviously a lot of hype surrounding Green Bay. They're still a young team. They're the youngest team in the league. Do they start reading headlines going into this game?
Oh, absolutely.
Whereas Philly, I think they know they're a little bit more of a veteran team, but a team that obviously how they finished last year, do they try to come in and punch somebody in the mouth right away?
Absolutely.
That's where I'm kind of going back and forth on.
Absolutely. I think both of those points are huge points. Why is Matt LaFleur so critical? Because they have a bullseye and target on their back, and he has to coach through that. And yes, look, we said it earlier, Nick Sirianni is fighting for his job. He's coaching for his job this year. And when you're in it's almost like the Sean Payton preseason game. Sean Payton was coaching that game to make a statement when the Broncos beat up on Green Bay. I think the Eagles try to do the same thing. And again, I'm not saying it's not baseball, it's not basketball. We know that it's only 17 games. However, getting punched in the mouth game one, I'm okay with, because then you see how this team recovers. Then all of a sudden it's a wake up notice for the Green Bay Packers, and that can be overused. I get that, but I think in this situation it's relevant.
Right, I agree. Kind of leaning towards Philly too.
Yeah, but I like I said, there's just something in me that says, you young team. Reading their own press clippings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I just think the Eagles, they have more players that have been there, that have been in those types of games. And I just think this is one of those where Green Bay gets a little bit of a wake-up call and says, okay, and just so you know, I do think Green Bay goes on a serious run after this game, though. And so I don't necessarily see a loss on that. I'll tell you, maybe you're looking at October 20th.
That Houston one?
Houston one?
Hudson already said Houston's winning, so.
All right, well, it's a foregone conclusion. We might as well not even play it at that point. So, I think you're looking probably Green Bay beats Indy. I think they beat Tennessee, Minnesota, the Rams, and Arizona. So what? They're 4-1 going in, or 5-1 going into that Houston game.
Yep.
And I think that probably is going to be the dogfight on whether or not the first half of the year they lose 2 games or not. So, but and it depends on what Houston's doing. CJ Stroud, I'm not ready to crown him yet.
Right.
So, but yeah, I say Philadelphia wins. Green Bay goes on a run after.
I agree. All right, Joe. Appreciate the time as always.
All right,
sir.
buddy. Appreciate it. And by the way, real quick, did you guys win last week?
I was a scrimmage kind of preseason game.
Okay.
So we didn't keep score for that
one. So you kept your dudes, you rested them a little bit more and
didn't open up the playbook.
Yeah, gotcha. Didn't you want that unscouted look coming? When's the first real game?
Not this week, not tonight. Next week, I believe.
Okay.
I'll have to double check, but I think it's next week. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Or maybe it's, I don't know.
From the Bill Walsh coaching tree.
Yeah, exactly. Andy Reid and then Paul Brown. So trying to explain that to kids, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So,
Captain, appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, man. We'll take a quick break here, and we'll finish up the second hour. Plus, we've got some Badger chat on the deck, plus more Brewers, too. We'll be back after these quick words. Looking to upgrade your man caves or maybe any space in your home or work or your office building, especially those floors, right? Update the carpet that maybe you haven't updated or never updated in the last like 20, 25 years or however long it may be. Maybe you want some new stylish, luxurious looking carpet or some rigid max flooring that would look amazing there too. Whatever the case may be, head on over to Carpet City Flooring Center, Wisconsin's premier flooring store. They will match or beat the competition if you happen to find a better deal elsewhere. But what seriously separates Carpet City Flooring Center from the rest is the customer service that you will instantly get as soon as you walk into the doors at Carpet City Flooring Center. They're a member of your team. They will work with you to help find the flooring that looks best in your home. If you're not quite sure what type of flooring, whether you should go with carpet or whether you should go with tile or whatever the case may be, that the whole team there will help you decide that. Work with you to figure out what would look best in your home, what would work the best. Depending on your situation, maybe if you're downstairs in the man cave and you kind of want to remodel the basement, well, there's different options that might work the best down there. They'll help you out with that. Okay, so also any questions, anything like that, they're always eager to help you out. Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Check them out for all of your flooring updates. If you're thinking about getting some new flooring, whether you're remodeling a home or new construction or whatever the case may be. 3109 East Hamilton Avenue. Check them out. Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. One of our partners also for the Mobile Man Cave. Mobile Man Cave brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Toyston Ford. Shout out to Toyston Ford. We're going to be taking the Mobile Man Cave over there soon to get a little tune up and such because we're going to be hitting the road quite a bit this fall. Also, Woods and Water Realty, your real estate store, especially with hunting season. Maybe if you're looking for some new lands or maybe your own hunting land for the first time or just building a cabin or a new home, Woods and Water is the place to check out, woodsandwater.com. Also, the Elbow Room, our Pick'em sponsors over there too. But great partners, Toyston Ford, Carpet City Flooring Center, Woods and Water Realty, and the Elbow Room for our Mobile Man Cave. We're going to be set up Friday at Hy-Vee doing a show over there. Also, more details to come. We're finalizing some stuff, but we'll be over at Blue Marble Pub September 20th. I think we're going to be doing a podcast over there, but for Oktoberfest. So more details for that for the Mobile Man Cave too. So, got any ideas, suggestions on where we should take the Mobile Man Cave? Let me know. I'm open to some ideas and some thoughts. Jim, to answer your question, you do need Peacock to watch the Packers game. You do need Peacock. So if you've never signed up for Peacock before, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to get a 7-day free trial. Okay. So I know there's a lot of people complaining about it, but if you've never signed up for it, a lot of those apps will give you like a 7-day free trial. So just play it that way. Sign up for a free trial, bada bing, bada boom. There you go. So otherwise, yeah, you'll have to go check it out at an establishment and check out the game. I know the Elbow Room is one of those places where you can go check out the game. They'll have the game up over there. But yes, it is exclusively on Peacock Friday night. All right, coming up next hour, we've got RJ Cardinal. We'll talk some Badgers with him. The Badgers getting a victory in week 1. Maybe some fans not too impressed with their performance. They got South Dakota State coming up here before Alabama the next week. Hopefully they're not overlooking South Dakota State here. But we'll get RJ's reaction to what he saw. He was there for the game Friday night. Get his thoughts and look ahead to South Dakota State coming up here. Now that college football really underway here. So plus we got some blue gold football action coming up this weekend too. So, but we'll talk to RJ in about let's say 20 minutes. So we are looking also for your top 5 most influential, most important Packers people for this season. Most important people for the Packers to have a successful season, championship season. Using the word people, that way you can include coaches on this thing. Okay? Make your picks, 715-830-1912. 715-830-1912. Yes, the Packers game is in Milwaukee, but obviously we're not in Milwaukee. We're in Eau Claire. So, all right. It's on local TV in Milwaukee, but again, we're not in Milwaukee. So, all right. 2 hours in. We got one more to go here. We'll be back for these quick words. Third and final hour kicking off here this morning. A big thanks to tuning in on this Tuesday morning. Maybe it's kicking off the brand new work week here for you. Hopefully, y'all had a good Labor Day weekend. Maybe some of the kiddos out there getting back to school. Best of luck on your first day of back to school, and also for the teachers too. Shout out to all the teachers getting back to school. School bus drivers. Hey, we can't have school. Can't get those kiddos to school safely without the school bus drivers over there too. So, but happy back to school day for everybody out there. Coming up, we're going to talk some Badger football here with Mr. R.J. Cardinal, recapping the game from yesterday, or excuse me, from Friday. I'm going to get my days mixed up all week here. But we'll recap that game, that win against Western Michigan, and then take a look at the game coming up this weekend. Got Alabama coming up the following week. I know a lot of fans already kind of paying attention to that one there, but let's take care of business one game at a time here for the Badgers. We are taking your top 5 most important Packer players, people, I should say, most important Packers people for this season, for the success of this season, to get a championship over there. Mike saying, good morning, Dan. Mike here. I think the 5 most important Packers are going to be Jordan Love. I think number 2 would be Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, our new Xavier McKinney, our new safety, Rashawn Gary at 4, and then number 5 going with Kenny Clark. I can't remember, Surveyor, if I went with your top 5 over there or not, but top 5, he went Matt LaFleur number 1, Jordan Love number 2, Jair number 3, Jane Reed 4, Xavier McKinney coming in at number 5. So continue to make our picks. Hit us up with those texts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you can also comment on the video stream if that suits you better. Brewers are back in action tonight. Aaron Savali is going to be on the mound for the Brew Crew. Brewers picking up a 9-3 win yesterday, highlighted by Willie Adames, another 3-run home run for him, his 5th straight game with a home run, tied with Ken Griffey Jr. for the most 3-run home runs in a season. He is up to 29 dingers, 99 RBIs on the season. Also, Jackson Chirio, 2nd career grand slam in his rookie season. Brewers powering their way to victory. That 9-3 win yesterday afternoon. Freddie Peralta picking up his 10th win of the season, 10-7 with a 3.75 ERA overall right now. As we mentioned, Aaron Savali's on the mound tonight for the Brewers' first pitch, about 6:40. Taking a look at these lineups here. Matz is on the mound here for St. Louis, but Savali's going to be looking for his 6th win of the season, currently 5-8 right now, and really not a lot of experience. You've got another left-handed pitcher on the mound here. Rhys Hoskins by far has the most experience going up against Steven Matz, 23 at-bats, does have 3 home runs, OPS of a 996, average 174. Sanchez has 12 career at-bats against him, including 1 home run, but you're talking a 487 OPS and a .083. Not a ton of experience going up against Savali. You got Goldschmidt that has 3 career at-bats, and Carpenter has 4 career at-bats against him. So, but looking at, Steven Matson, we haven't seen him for a while, right? I mean, he's finally coming back here. We haven't seen him since the beginning of the season here when he pitched 3 games in April. So maybe a little bit unknown after that too. Or maybe this is an opportunity for the Brewers to kind of rough them up a little bit, right? But we were talking a little bit about it in the first hour, looking at the pitching that we have seen from the Brewers, starters, bullpen, and that. Savali's pitching, I think, too, for potentially a spot within this postseason. He's coming off of a fantastic game against the Giants where he went 7 innings, striking out 7, only gave up 2 hits and no earned runs. But when he gets to that postseason roster, we know Freddie's going to be in there. Colin Ray is going to be in there. Pretty confident Tobias is going to be in there. If you do that 4th man rotation, again, is it going to be Frankie Montas? Is it going to be Aaron Savali? Is it going to be a combination? Do they go a little bit of a bullpen one there because they've got guys that out of that pen can give you a couple innings? Joe Ross, we talked about him in the first hour and just how well he has pitched out of the pen since August when they moved him out of there. Aaron Ashby, he looks good coming out of the pen, touching 99 miles per hour on the radar gun too. So, Savali is kind of part of that equation, that question of what maybe that 4th start when it gets to a postseason there could look like part of that roster. So I'm looking for him. What does Aaron Savali have to kind of, coming off that really solid performance, perhaps his best game of the season against the Giants? How can he match that going up against the Cardinals tonight? Does he have another solid outing? Can he start to stack success over there? So I had a question a little bit earlier, and this is going to be a question I think all offseason here. Will the Brewers re-sign Willie Adames? Well, the price tag is going up and up and up and up and up. I just hope that he can continue this, what he's doing lately from the plate, carry it into the postseason and stay hot at the plate. I don't think they'll be able to re-sign him. I think the money's going to be too much. Would like the Brewers to re-sign him. I think the Brewers would love to keep Willie Adames. I don't think the numbers are going to be there in terms of money. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I hope Mark Anastasio and the Brewers surprise a lot of us Brewers fans that they're able to keep Willie Adames. I just think it's going to be priced out. I think it's going to be priced out, and it's going to suck because I think he's such a, not only just from his play, but within the clubhouse, within the dugout, such a leader for this team, such a stalwart. And he's gone through some defensive hiccups here in the second half of this season. Normally a solid defensive shortstop, but he's gone through some hiccups here. I would love them to keep Willie Adames and kind of keep this core intact here, but I just think I don't know if they're going to be able to afford him. Now, I know they're not really spending a whole lot on pitching, so maybe I don't know. Right now, I would say no. I don't think they're going to be able to. Especially right now, that price tag is going up. And let's say the Brewers get to the postseason and he continues this. And he continues to stay hot in the postseason. Well, that's just going to go up there a little bit more too. It's going to drive it up a little bit more too. If you have success in the postseason, Atlanta may be looking for an upgrade at shortstop. They got a former Brewer over there right now with Orlando Arcia. Atlanta's been rumored as a potential trade target for Willie Adames for the past what, year plus. I don't know if the Dodgers potentially would still be in there. They were at once rumored there. Mookie Betts back in the outfield in that. So I don't know. I think it's going to take one team that's just going to offer him a deal that he can't refuse. So, all right. What else do we got here? We got the Packers. They're getting set to fly out to Brazil tomorrow morning. Have you guys seen some of the stuff that is being reported out there? Now, last week there was reports about wildfires going on there, air quality. Would they be able to get the game in and such? Matt LaFleur the other day saying he hasn't heard anything official from the NFL and such. So that seems to be a non-issue. But reporters, couple things now. Reporters apparently won't be able to tweet during the game. They won't be able to tweet during the game because Twitter's banned over there. X, whatever we're calling it. So if you're planning like, I'm not going to watch, I'm going to follow the updates on Twitter. Apparently, reporters can't tweet. So you might have to go to Instagram or follow some online blogs. I know PackersNews.com is doing that and such. But also, too, the players apparently from NFL security, there's some strict restrictions. Like they were told, don't leave the hotel when you're there. When you're out there, don't be on your phone. Don't be taking pictures or answering weird texts. It's like, what the heck? Going over there and it's like, holy moly, good to go play a football game, but don't leave the hotel room when you get there. So kind of weird. That kind of some strange stuff that's being floated out there ahead of this game on Friday night. So yeah, I don't know how it's all going to work out, but I guess it remains to be seen. 49ers, if we have any 49ers fans, I know we got a few actually that do listen, but if you didn't see it, it sounds like your left tackle is going to be back in town. Trent Williams back in town, ending his holdout, but he's going to be there, just getting ready to suit up as they face the Jets coming up here. So I mean, the 49ers, a team that all offseason we're dealing with a couple of holdouts. Brandon Ayuk, deal done. Trent Williams, deal's going to be done now. So a couple of big time players for that roster, for that team to, pivotal players to have a successful season too. Looks like they're back in the equation over there. But speaking of the 49ers too, I mean, over the weekend, what a really, really scary situation with their rookie wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall, who was shot during a robbery attempt. And he was released from the hospital after a day. So it sounds like he's good. As good as can be, I guess, after being shot. But definitely going to be missing at least the first few weeks of the season. But man, that was just an awful, awful thing. A couple more top fives coming up here for this morning for the Packers. My top five. This is from Nick saying the new kicker. Can't remember his name. That tells you everything. Okay. Jordan Love, Jeff Hafley, Matt LaFleur, and their left tackle Walker. Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that for some of you not mentioning the new kicker or mentioning the kicking game overall in your top five, and maybe it's just again you kind of overlook the kickers and such, but with Braden Arvison over there, Matt LaFleur saying he's got a lot of confidence in him, a little bit of a change in tune. When he was first announced, Matt LaFleur saying, "Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot. No, he did well in preseason." Kind of saying, "Yeah, we might have to adjust our fourth down play calling and that." To a couple days later, he's like, "Yeah, I got confidence in him." And apparently, Jair Alexander. But first, Matt LaFleur said, "Yeah, I've seen enough to be confident in him. If that's what you're asking, do I have confidence in him? Absolutely." And apparently, even Jair went up to Matt LaFleur during a practice and said was complimenting the new kicker and such. So hopefully it works out. I think we all just want our long-term kicking solution figured out and settled on, right? That's the end goal. I don't care who it is. I just want our kicking situation to be settled for the long term, for double-digit years. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to switch gears here a little bit. Some college football talk here. Badgers picking up a win Friday night, squeaking by Western Michigan. We'll recap it and preview their upcoming game coming up with RJ Cardinal. Whatever it may be, honor the changing of the seasons by changing up your flooring game. Just head to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and let the team there help you accomplish your flooring dreams. And maybe to get in the mood for the changing of the seasons, may I suggest some new Rigid Max flooring that would look great in your home to give you that hardwood floor look. So head on into Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and upgrade that flooring game of yours today. Carpet City Flooring Center is located at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire.
Get ready to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, September 6th, with Stamatic of Western Wisconsin. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Northland Buildings has been providing quality post-frame buildings throughout the Midwest since 1994. That's 30 years of expertise in construction for your peace of mind. Northland Buildings are economical, long-lasting, and built tough with quality materials and superior workmanship. Custom-built post-frame construction featuring a 50-year snow load warranty to withstand our tough Midwest winters. Northland's experienced sales reps are with you from start to finish. Get affordable protection for your vehicles, ATV, boats, and recreational gear. And farmers, of course, trust those tough agricultural buildings like the barns and machine sheds. Trust the experts in post-frame construction to help you with your next building project. Call 800-736-4510 or go to northlandbuildings.com. Get a quality building at a fair price. Built tough for the Northland.
Protect all you own, farm, business, or home. Northland Building.
More than the scores. More than the news. It's Sports Out the Squeaker. The Dan Kasper Show.
Tailgating season is here, and there's nobody better to team up with than Mike's Star Market on the west side of Eau Claire. Bunch of different flavors of brats over there to try out, whether it's the Bloody Mary brats or your dill pickle and cheese ones, which are my wife's favorites, or you've got your traditional ones over there like beer brats and such. But if you're going to be packing up the grills, whether it's for some Blue Gold games or some Wisconsin football games or some Green Bay games or maybe even some high school games, look no further than Mike's Star Markets in Eau Claire to load up on all those brats for the grill this tailgating season. Let's talk some Badger football here with Mr. R.J. Cardinal this morning. So, R.J., game one in the books. Wasn't necessarily a dominant performance by any means, but what was your reaction now that you've had a few days to marinate? Let it marinate a little bit. What was your reaction? What's your thoughts on what you saw Friday night at Camp Randall?
Well, if I were just to keep looking at the box score, I would think it was a great game. Outside of the score, maybe some field goals were missed and whatnot, but looking at that box score, pretty balanced offensively, 196 on the ground, 192 through the air. So you're almost at 400 yards of total offense. You held the ball for 35 minutes. You wouldn't know unless you looked at the scoring chart that Wisconsin was losing by 1 point in the fourth quarter. So that way, it looked great. Actually, in person, you failed to physically dominate a perceived lesser opponent. And everything, it seems that we've been sold, even in this offseason now, with better personnel than we had last year, provided the same results we saw last year, where you struggled against a MAC team. Now, hopefully that doesn't turn into a second game of the year that's going to become a clunker against a maybe better opponent when you consider it's a number 6 program in the FCS. And we've seen top 10 programs in the FCS really give fits to We've seen North Dakota State and South Dakota State win against FBS programs, and we've also seen them pushing FBS programs to the limit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Friday night versus Western Michigan, you got the win, great. I saw somebody comparing that to the NFL. Just be happy, we got the win, we can move forward. Well, still, even in a 12-team playoff, style points matter, and that's not one to build any sort of confidence whatsoever. It was a very disappointing game. People booing, as the offense was leaving the field when they weren't getting points. I guess the good thing is you held onto the ball for 14, 16, 14, 12 plays a drive and all that kind of stuff. But when you're not routinely getting points out of that, and you got lucky that probably 3 passes weren't intercepted, it was a very blah game, and that's not what we needed to see to get the reassurance from the coaching staff that this team is better than last year.
I think, I was trying to come up with a phrase or a word to describe it, and I just kept going, meh, kind of, blah is probably the right word right there.
Yeah, it didn't build any confidence. Let's just say that. So, it got to the point where Western Michigan their whole defense was no farther away from the line of scrimmage than 7 yards, and you still didn't take a deep threat. And then after the game, you had the audacity to say, well, we were just taking what they were giving us. Well, they almost had 11 guys in the box, and you still wouldn't have passed the ball. It really seems that way. Or you wouldn't have tried to go over the top, because, it was pretty even in yardage, at least, on the offensive play charts. Overall, at times your defense looked very porous and couldn't stop the run. At times it looked like it was world beaters, because you had a bit of a goal line stand up until they got in on 4th down for a touchdown early there. And then you had a stand at the 50-yard line that really won you the game. And none of it was because of the defensive line. We can absolutely see right now the defensive line will be an issue this year. The stops were made by linebackers, so there's that. But the defensive line is going to be an issue all year, totaling 1 sack versus Western Michigan, even with Western Michigan's O-line probably being one of their best returning units. You still think a Big Ten team should be able to dominate the trenches against a MAC team, and that didn't happen on both sides of the ball.
RJ, like, I was thinking about this over the weekend too. I'm like, okay, it's one game. They don't have a preseason. Does that buy a little leeway? But then on the other side of me, I'm like, but that's also the same case for Western Michigan too, right? It's not like it's the case for both sides over there too. So how much should we take away from this first game from this Badger team?
Not only that, Western Michigan, even though they were returning a lot of players, had new offensive and defensive coordinators, and whatever they were drawing up seemed to be working.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it. And this whole, maybe we're not showing some things until we can not trot it out there before Alabama. When you're not good enough to be doing that, you shouldn't be doing it. And right now, Wisconsin doesn't look good enough to be hiding plays from people. So, it was a disappointing game. Like, I understand you get the win, you win by 2 touchdowns. You're favored by 10 more points in there. And the other thing was they were proud of is we won the 4th quarter. Barely.
Yeah.
It took 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion in there to get you ahead by 2 scores, and even then it took a last last minute interception, which was a great interception by Xavier Lucas, to seal the game. But still, it was a concerning game, but not like Florida State concerning.
Right. Yeah.
But anybody who like is pointing out teams that have lost has to kind of realize Wisconsin was that close to losing to a MAC school at home.
Mm-hmm.
And you still only one team lost in the Big Ten in the first weekend, and you just hate to see it. But we can leave that school nameless for the time being, unless somebody else wants to say it. And
let's just say it's not far from us over here in Eau Claire, right?
Yeah. Not too far from you guys.
Yeah. So Tyler Van Dyke, obviously a lot of Badger fans, didn't know a whole lot about him, didn't know what to expect. He's 21 of 36, a $192. That's box score numbers. But you were there, you were watching him, you were watching a game. Did anything stand out to you? Do you take away anything from what you saw from Tyler Van Dyke's performance on Friday night?
At times he had very good pocket awareness. Now there were some times where a guy was right in front of him and didn't see him. He has good decision making in the pocket there, but there were times he threw into triple coverage, and I think any other team has 3 interceptions versus him. Hopefully it's just a first game kind of jitters thing, but I liked what I saw. You got like 25 yards rushing in there too. So, there were a couple more times I think he could have tucked it and ran it, but he looks very capable to be able to evade people in the pocket and, create plays with his feet if he absolutely has to. Ran for a touchdown. But, I think we're seeing a good quarterback. And hopefully that translates into a better feel, for his team in game conditions moving forward. Just need to see a little bit better decision making on his end. Other than that, I'd say it was a pretty decent first showing.
Mm-hmm. So looking ahead to South Dakota now, who had a 45-3 victory over Northern State, and I'm not familiar with Northern State, but then I'm looking at the numbers that some of their key players put up for South Dakota State. The quarterback only threw 12 times, and it was 9 of 12. Their running back Pierre Jr. 13 carries for $136, and then heard you say defensive line concerns. I'm like, oh boy, running back that 136, and you got defensive line concerns. Is that the biggest concern heading into this game, is slowing down South Dakota's running attack?
It does seem that way, unless they really weren't showing anything either, because I was looking at some of their stats from last year, and they're returning their top 3 receivers, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end, who I think their top receiver had like 900 yards of receiving last year. The tight end was like at 530, and the third leading receiver was also up in like 400s or something like that. So, they have a passing attack. I think it might just be one of those things. They were going up against a Division II school and didn't have to do anything. Maybe those 12 attempts came in forced passing downs. I don't know. I've been looking for anything, can't really find it. But and they return 4 of their 5 offensive line starters. One who was all conference last year, and then brought in a transfer from Monmouth, and all of the guys are huge. Like the smallest guy is 290. I think that seems to be the focal point of their offense. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And we saw lesser teams be able to run over Wisconsin last year, and hopefully that changes. But when you have a kicker run for 26 yards on you, and thankfully he was the second leading rusher for Western Michigan. It's definitely something we got to look out for, because heck, even in Alabama's going to have a good rushing game. We saw USC run successfully on LSU, both of which are seen as better teams than what we played this weekend and played better opponents. Well, maybe USC. I'm not sure about Alabama, but that is definitely a huge concern where I'm not sure we improved at all in our rushing defense.
RJ, you're kind of alluding to it there, but I'll ask this. I mean, okay, we've got South Dakota here. Obviously, not the greatest performances on Friday, but should we, considering everything that we've seen so far, should we be concerned that the Badgers or some of those players may be looking ahead to next week against Alabama and setting themselves up for a little disappointment this Saturday against South Dakota? Is that a concern for you?
I'm thinking the coaching staff might be too. I mean, when you come out after that game and say we ran the game plan as we planned it, probably should have made some adjustments and started doing something different, because when you're in a dogfight against the MAC school and you don't make a change, there was a good possibility you still lost that game. So it's on the coaching staff too. Like, I think everybody is just looking ahead. And I mean, you can't really do that. We got a FCS number 6 ranked team here coming in this weekend. And like, if you want to keep hiding stuff, go right ahead. You're going to be 1-1 going into the Alabama game, and you're going to have a whole bunch of Alabama fans here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case anyway, because it's going to be the largest selling ticket a season ticket holder can sell. It's not a good look, especially everything that's coming out of the mouths of the people who are like, oh yeah, we had a good game. No, you didn't. Like, come out and say it. You did not have a good game. Like, you can, like I said, you can look at the stats and they say you had a good game, but I mean, nobody looked pumped to be there. And the first game, a night game in Camp Randall, if that can't get you going, if that can't get the little extra pump in there for you to be able to push a D lineman back 5 yards, for you to like impose your will on somebody coming into Camp Randall, not much is going to help you there. So good luck in the 2:30 game with an FCS opponent if your coaching staff is going to go into it again and act like they don't have to run their entire playbook to be able to beat them.
I like it, man. All right, so before prediction here, what is it, besides a win, obviously, but what is it that you want to see from this Badger team going up against South Dakota? Give me a couple of things, and then your prediction after that.
Well, let's see. To paraphrase Major League 2,
oh yes,
marbles.
Yeah, nice. Good
marbles.
pull. Yeah.
Because what I didn't see was any sort of aggression from this Badgers team. They walked out there acting like they were going to steamroll and expected Western Michigan to roll over. Like, if they do that, like I said, execution looked okay. Like, that looked all right. There was nothing behind it though. Like, you're just going through the motions trying to win. Like, you can't do that. Especially in this day and age where people can transfer left and right. They're like they got some good transfers, and they had a freshman of the year at Western Michigan. Their O-line was all returning, like I said, but like, they just expected them to roll over and let the Badgers just do what they wanted to. And I just need to see the attitude that a Power 5, a Power 4, whatever we're calling it now, a Power 4 program should have against a MAC school. And it shouldn't be a 2-score game. Like, I get it. You're about to go up against an FCS opponent that's ranked. And we've seen, like I said, South Dakota State, North Dakota State. We've seen some of these top 10 programs give fits to FBS, not only like not mid-majors, but also Power 5 schools in the past, and like push them. We saw North Dakota State almost beat Colorado. Like, if it wasn't for 2 people on the Colorado team in Shedeur Sanders and Hunter, they would have lost that game. Wisconsin doesn't have two players that come anywhere near those two. So let's hope it becomes a team effort to try to win a game. And people start calling each other out, saying, you're playing like absolute dog crap. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, we've seen that happen in the past, and nobody answered the bell, and that's why we have a new coaching staff and all that kind of stuff. But, I just need to see effort. That's all I ask for this week.
Mm-hmm. Man, you're pumping me up. I think you need to go talk to the team. You need to go back and use your manager privileges from the past and get in that locker room, dude.
I can certainly try.
So I mean, I think I saw lines about 12 for this game. Do you think they cover, or given what you've seen, you're like, I don't know right now.
I don't know. Like honestly, like I don't know what to expect from South Dakota. I mean, they put up 45 on a D2 school. I honestly don't know what that all entails. I mean, if you want to kind of look at last year, Missouri beat them 35-10, and they were still a pretty darn good team. I mean, their only real losses, I think, were South Dakota, and then in the playoffs to North Dakota State. So, like, they're a good team, but it's one of those as an FBS school. I'd love to say you treat them like Missouri did last year, but after the performance I watched, and now seeing that they put up 45 on anybody, I'm not really sure that this team can cover. And up until they do, I think I got to bet the other team to I'll take them at plus 12.5 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Man. All right, RJ. I hope they're listening. I hope Luke Fickle's listening, and the entire staff's listening to you right now. You got me fired up. So I'm glad you got me going here for another brand new work week here too. So I like it.
It's a short week.
Yeah, right. Exactly. By the way, did you before I let you go partake in a beverage at Camp Randall? No. Okay.
$11.99 for a beer, $12.49 for a seltzer. The people next to me took care of that. They each had a 6-pack of one was beer, one was seltzers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I did the math with tax before, leaving a tip if you want to do that. They did their job of $54.88.
All right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
They took care of that. The lines on my side of the stadium were going about half an hour wait, no matter if you wanted alcohol, food, water, soft drink, pretzel, whatever. Apparently the opposite side of the stadium, the east side of the stadium, that has larger concourses and is a little more modernized. It was about 2-minute wait. So, just depending on what side of the stadium you were at. But yeah, a lot of double backed lines on the west side of the stadium. And it wasn't worth it even to get in the line for anything. There wasn't an alcohol only line. There wasn't, but it was a cluster, as they like to say.
Man. All right, he's RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst from Zone in Madison, dude. Appreciate the time as always, man. Enjoy the rest of the week, and hopefully we're talking about some positive stuff next week leading into that game against Alabama.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right, you have a good week there, buddy.
You too. We'll see you next week.
You got it. There, RJ Cardinal, our dude there. Oh, I love RJ. Oh, that's awesome. All right, we'll take a quick break here, and we'll start to wrap up things with some picks and predicts coming up after these quick words. Excited to partner up with Underdog Fantasy this year for the football season. You can make your football season even better with Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like touchdowns and receiving yards. And what I enjoy the most about Underdog Fantasy, it's the ease of their pick'ems. I was just doing them the other day. It's so easy, it's so simple. Just one tap, higher, lower, boom, bada bang. Don't have to think about it too much. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app, download it, take a look at it, or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code Kasper, Kasper. That's Kasper, not like the ghost. An Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Kasper to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 and older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right. Let's do some picks and predicts right here, brought to you by the Elbow Room. By the way, those of you maybe looking for somewhere to catch the game on Friday, the Green Bay game on Friday, head on over to the Elbow Room. Head on over to the Elbow Room here, because they'll have the game up. All right, they'll have the game up. Also, some specials going on over there too. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch the game on Friday, maybe you don't want to sign up for Peacock or anything like that, you can head on over to the Elbow Room, drink specials, and watch the game over there. So also, you can head to our website for our picks and predicts and start to make your picks for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge. I already made my picks over there, so I wouldn't forget, because it's Tuesday. We already got a game on Thursday with the Chiefs and the Ravens, okay? And so you want to get over there. Click on the Fan Cave tab of our website at sportstalk1051.com. Scroll down on the bottom, and you'll see the icon there in our prize dugout. Click that, sign in, or if you're new, sign up. It's free, and just start making some picks. Start making some picks over there for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge. Let's do some baseball games here. Let's bring it up. Let's do some baseball games here. Let's go with Minnesota at Tampa Bay. Minnesota picked up a 5-4 victory last night. I'm gonna go with Minnesota to pick up the win. Philadelphia at Toronto. Brewers fans, we need the fighting Dalton Varshows over there. We need Toronto to take care of some business and beat Philadelphia. I don't know if it's going to happen, so I'm going to go with Philadelphia to pick up the win. Boston and the Mets. The Mets competing for a wild card spot. Boston's a few back. They're trying to climb up there. It's in New York. I will go with the Mets on this one. Colorado versus Atlanta. Atlanta trying to climb up there a little bit. I'm going to go with Atlanta. Cleveland at Kansas City. Whoo, we just had that there too. But Kansas City struggling as of late now. Do they bounce back? I'm going to go. I think Kansas City gets game 1 tonight. I'll go with Kansas City picking up the win. Guess we got to put Cubs in there too, because they're making things a little bit more. They're trying to fight in for a playoff push here for a wild card. They're 3.5 back. You got Paul Skeens going up against Kyle Hendricks though. Give me Pittsburgh. Paul Skeens, come on, man. Let's go with Arizona, San Francisco. I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks in this one. I'll go with the Diamondbacks. I'm going to go with the Brewers to pick up a win tonight too. Steven Matz going up against Aaron Savali. I'm going to go Brewers picking up that W tonight. So I got Philly and the Dodgers winning, so they don't make up any ground in terms of getting one of those top 2 spots in the National League there. But nonetheless, I'll go with the Crew to pick up the victory. So, all right, those are your picks and predicts. Again, don't forget to make your picks at our website, sportstalk1051.com, for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge. All right, it already starts off here in a couple of days, believe it or not. Oh man, Today was a lot of fun. Big thanks to everybody who texted in, chimed in. If I didn't get to your messages, my bad. We had quite a few here, but keep them coming throughout the rest of the week, okay? So, but we talked a lot about the Brewers, taking 3 out of 4 against the Reds, picking up a win yesterday. Willie Adames, Jackson Cheerio, having days yesterday. Willie Adames has been having 5 days in a row now, home run, and now he's got 13 3-run shots. So we'll see if that streak, can he get another one tonight? Can he extend it to 6? But Brewers tied for the second most wins in all of Major League Baseball. Dodgers have the most, 83. Brewers and Phillies, 81. So Packers will be flying out tomorrow to head to Brazil for their Friday night kickoff against Philadelphia. But it seems like the Brewers, or excuse me, it seems like the Packers are all healthy, all 53. Practice, knock on wood. Hopefully that continues, and everybody will be healthy and ready to go for that game Friday nights. We'll continue kind of doing some countdown stuff leading up to that game. Today we did, the top 5 most influential, most important, people, Packers people. I'm saying people because we can include coaches and players on this thing. But everybody was different, which I kind of expected. We had a few of the same ones out there. Jordan Love obviously was a very popular one. I think everybody picked him for obvious reasons. Josh Jacobs was another popular one out there. Defense, you had a few different players all across the board. Matt LaFleur, Jeff Hafley were all mentioned in there too. So, but we hit that up. We'll do another one in the next couple days here too, leading up to kickoff. So, big thanks to RJ for stopping by and talking some Badgers with us, what he noticed, what he experienced at the game and such. So we'll hopefully pick up another win for the Badgers and go 2-0 leading into the Alabama game coming up next week. But tomorrow we'll do a little business of sports. Hopefully we're talking about another Brewers win, at least securing a series win over the Cardinals. The last time Brewers and Cardinals will play each other this week. So last time they'll be going, or this season, excuse me, just 24 more games left to go. 24 more games left to go. And here we are, 24 games left to go, talking about the Brewers having these tied for the second best record in all of Major League Baseball, not just the National League. All of Major League Baseball, competing for a spot, one of those top 2 spots to get a bye. And, Brewers are 7-3 in their last 10. It's just the Dodgers and the Phillies are making it a little bit harder too. Last 10. So not a whole lot of movement between the top 3 teams and standings and such. So it's going to be, I can't wait to see the rest of this month finish off. I mean, I don't want to look ahead. I don't want to look too far ahead here. But you've got Arizona coming up next Friday on the road for 3 games. Then you're back home against Philly for 3 games. And then Arizona at home for 4 games. That stretch from the 13th through the 22nd. And you only got 6 more games after that. That's going to be a big determinant if the Brewers, I think, are going to get one of those top 2 seeds. Boy, it's going to be fun. September is going to be crazy. With the Packers going on, Badgers, and this Brewers run into the postseasons. September, Wisconsin fans. Oh, it's going to be fun. DP and Adanettes are up next. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. We'll do this again tomorrow, just past 6. Talk to you then.